You got to stand with all your might. Anything shouts, reignite, truth to the battle, try to ignite, rebels rise, hear the sound, metal echoes all around.
What's up? Good Saturday morning, everybody. If you haven't been following us for the last few weeks, this is our new day and time. So,
That's right.
So,
Yep.
So if you're just figuring it out, then
what was
like why are they on Saturday?
Yeah. what was old is new again. So
exactly, yeah. So we did a complete 360. So
yeah, we kind of did.
And then we may do another one. Who knows? Because
man,
Chris is in a job now where he'll probably work this way for a little while, and then they may change it on him. So
they very well might. Yeah. So I have a feeling I'm probably going to be on third shift at least until next year. Because
that works then. So
So I mean, it's one of those strange things. Working at GM. The department I work in right now runs 3 shifts. The other building where Angela and Kayla work run 2 shifts. When I actually get converted over to a permanent employment status, they'll probably move me over to that other building, and odds are better than not that I'll be on second shift. So we may not even have to worry about it.
Right.
But you never know. So I mean, it is what it is at this point.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
I mean, if we have to be a little flexible here, so I mean, it's
yeah.
I mean, we did that way for bands, so we've definitely got to do it for each other. So.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's very true.
It'd be kind of messed up if we didn't do it.
That's right. Yeah.
It's like, you're not a band. We're not accommodating you.
That's right. Yeah.
But I should have did that to you. I didn't think about it. Hey, man, can we change back to Saturday? Are you in a band? That's what I should say.
That's right. Are you a band that lives in Europe?
Oh, man. Speaking of which, we got some news on the front of that.
Yeah, we do. Yes, we do.
Before we get too far in, we do have a band scheduled for next week.
Yep.
The following week, I'm on vacation, so we probably won't have a show. And then the 2 weeks after that, we have a band scheduled.
That's right.
so
June is shaping up to be a busy month.
It is.
And we're actually still waiting to hear back from one band who I thought would have actually taken the opening this week, but I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. Not exactly sure what the deal is with that. I mean, we may end up having to do a follow up with them, but
well, that's fine. I'm not, like I said, I'm not too stressed about it right now.
Right.
I figure we got. To me, I look at things where I got things booked up till vacation, and I'm like, okay, I want to go do that, reset, and then come back and get back to work.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I got another, the band. Not to give anything else away, but the band that I reviewed, I'm going to try to reach out to those guys because it was a pretty good impression on me. So, which we'll get into in the album reviews later on.
Right. Yep.
So I guess first off, if you missed last week's show, I mean, dude, you missed probably one of my favorite interviews so far. I mean, Richie Cavallera from Insight is probably so down to earth and like really kind of laid back and open and. Man, some of the stories he told was pretty wild. It's like so.
Yeah, I mean, even without, of course, we did ask him because we ask every one of our guests about a road story. But I mean, just the amount of stories he told us just organically as the interview flowed. Right. I mean, it was like holy shit! The amount of stuff he's gotten to do and the people he's met and the places he's gone already.
We've definitely got more stories that we asked for sure. So.
And I guarantee you that just barely just grazed the surface of the people he's rubbed elbows with. My God.
Well, and if you missed that one, we are going to do this again in the fall, just so you know. So we kind of preset that up and he's like, hey man, let's do this again when the tours and stuff are over in the fall. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, dude.
Absolutely. My God, you kidding me?
Yeah, man. I get sit around with that guy at the campfire, like you say, when we do the and just talk to that dude for days, probably. So,
yeah, that was pretty amazing. Just how that interview. Well, I mean, just how it came about. I mean, again, another shout out to our buddy Curtis for that.
Well, and then one, it wasn't supposed to last that long, and it wound up.
Right.
Unfortunately, one of his other interviews had to cancel because of the tornadoes.
Right.
Which since we're talking about that, we want to give our thoughts and prayers out to anybody that was affected by those storms. That was pretty bad.
It got bad, yeah.
Through a few states. So hopefully everybody. So I don't remember seeing any casualties in our state, but
there, as far as I know, there weren't any in Tennessee. But I know that outside of, because there was that one tornado that went through St. Louis.
And I know in Kentucky, I think they may have had a few too.
I think I'd have to check, but I think there was an upwards of a couple of dozen fatalities all told between all of the storms that occurred. So that sucks.
It does, yeah. But Mother Nature is undefeated, so so it's definitely things that we have to make sure we have precautions taken and all that good stuff. So I think a lot of people. To me, I don't think a lot of people take it as serious until it actually happens close to home, which is unfortunate. But I mean, I think that's with anything, though. I think a lot of us get so caught up in our everyday lives that we don't think about, fires and forest fires and stuff like that. Because I mean, where we're at, we don't have, why would we think about a forest fire where we're at? But I mean, we do have close by in Gatlinburg. So I mean, that stuff
that was different. That was set intentionally.
Well, yeah. But I'm just saying, like that stuff could still be devastating to a community. So, and I mean, there wasn't to say that wouldn't have got this far down either. I mean, because trees and trees are connected. So, especially here, if you never been to Tennessee, you can't ride down an interstate without it being covered both sides with trees. So
it's true. but I mean, that's obviously a good thing though, that we do have.
Well, yeah,
that we do have plenty of the vegetation and stuff like that. It's definitely a good thing, because there's parts of the country that aren't fortunate enough to have that. So
that's right. Yeah. But anyway, back to the interviews. They had to cancel because of that, so we had a little extra time with Richie, which was great. So we appreciate him going ahead and telling us, hey man, we ain't got no time limit. Let's just talk. So
yeah, because he didn't have to do that. I mean, we were.
He didn't. I mean, we were already scheduled to only do an hour. So
yeah, so he definitely didn't have to do that. He could have just said, yeah. I mean. He could have said what he ultimately said, let's get together again another time. But I mean, he was just like, yeah, man, actually, he's like, yeah, I'm wide open, so we can just do whatever. And we did what, so we did whatever. So what did we get? Like 215, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, so yeah,
it was. It's also amazing to me too. Like we don't ever bring it up until one of the guests do, but he was just like, hey, this is kind of organic and I like this. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we shot for when we did this, is not to be, and it's like, we've said this 100 times on here. We're not journalists. We're just two metal fans talking to bands and we do find things, within songs or bands. And then we'll ask those questions, but, for more or less, it's just kind of a organic conversation. And we kind of ask a question that pops up while we're talking. So
because there's been plenty of times where it's like, I didn't even think of this until you said this, but what
I know, right?
So, I mean, it's happened quite a bit. It's cool that you brought that up just a minute ago, because it is kind of nice to have the people that have taken the time out of their schedule to come on the show to compliment how we do run this thing.
Yeah,
it really is nice to get that. I mean, and it's kind of like an instantaneous feedback, but it's nice to get that because we like you said, we have made a conscious effort to try to make this, just make it kind of, not to beat this word to death, because I mean we've already said it about 12 times in this show already. We're only 9.5 minutes in, but to make it feel organic, just natural and just comfortable. And we don't want anyone to come on the show and feel like, fuck me, I got to do another interview, So I mean,
tense and all that.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, it is nice to actually get the compliments from our guests. It's like, man, this was fun. I enjoyed the hell out of this, and man, it was really, it was nice and laid back, and it felt good and all that. So whatever compliments we get, it's nice to hear. It really is.
So cool. So like I said, we will build off of that for the next week and then the next couple of weeks coming up. So we're trying to we're trying to break our last year's record. I guess we had 8 in a row last year, and actually it was so funny that it was actually the same time that it started. It was actually it started in the middle of May and went through the 1st of July.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I was like, wow, this is kind of the same time frame, which is amazing. Yeah. That I guess we found our interview months. I guess.
Yeah, just I don't know what you would call it. I don't know what you call it. Our interview hotspot. I guess
popular. I guess the popular dates or something.
Our hotspot or something. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, so, but it's like I said, it's kind of like I didn't realize it until I was writing stuff down. I said, "Wait, this was I was looking at last year's stuff because it's on the page before while I'm writing down the stuff for this year, and I'm just like, oh wow, that's kind of crazy that it's the same around the same time frame, which is crazy." Yeah, so I guess this is kind of like the spot where everybody's kind of getting ready to go on their summer tours and stuff. So we're kind of catching them right before they go out, I guess. But
that makes sense.
Yeah,
it does.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. But then I guess it's kind of depends on the release dates of albums too. I guess that kind of has a lot to do with it. So
yeah. I mean, considering that Richie's got his album coming out in about 3 months, so we got like
right? So yeah,
we got about a 90-day jump on that one.
Right? Yeah, we got a big jump on that. So
yeah, we did.
I was kind of like, when he said that, I was like, wow, that's going to be. Curtis said, "Hey, you want to interview?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, but I mean, we wouldn't. We can't talk a lot about the new album because it's like 3 months away. So we talk about the singles that were out, but that's it." So.
That's what we really tried to do. We tried to keep it contained to that, so we weren't giving anything away. Because I mean, the 3 singles, obviously, anyone can kind of listen to them and enjoy them right now. So we didn't want to. We're kind of like, we're kind of like. Those people who do movie reviews and shit like that. It's like, I can only tell you this much because I don't want to ruin the movie. And it's the same thing. We don't want to ruin an album for anybody. So
yeah, I mean, we've already heard it. So I mean, right. and I think everybody's going to really enjoy this album. I mean,
I think so.
It's definitely going in the right direction for those guys. So
absolutely,
I think they've just gotten better as they went along. Anyway,
I think
honestly. So. I mean, you could tell, like he said, you could tell from that first record where it was kind of like the production was not that great. I mean, most people's first album aren't that great because I mean, you don't have, you're new to the scene, so it's not like you're going to have, Capitol Records or somebody jumping on your bandwagon just because that didn't happen. So,
right. It takes some time.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize, like, oh, well, they're signed to Metal Blade Records. I'm like, yeah, but they were on this label 4 years before that because they, Metal, they weren't popular enough to be on Metal Blade at the time. So,
hell, even the most popular bands have gone from label to label. Metallica, the same label the whole time.
There was this. I think it's in my headline, so I'll leave it, but. There's a band on there that just changed labels too.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh yeah. I mean, it happens all the time.
Yeah. So
it's actually kind of it's actually kind of the nature of the business, really.
I mean, it is. This is going to like who you think is going to be helping you promote your band and your product the most.
Right.
So, and like I said, whoever's on RPM, the record label, or have got it made because those people
killing it.
They stay busy. I mean, there's three different people in our inbox from that label that are constantly pushing music at us. So, and not just at us. I'm sure they're doing that to many other outlets.
Oh so, yeah. I mean, we're just on a mailing list, but
we're fish food in a sea of people. So
we are, but hell, it's still nice to be included because, like we've said before, they found us. They started sending stuff to us. We didn't reach out to them. So I mean, the fact that they even thought to, include us in their correspondence, and like you say, there's at least 3 people. There may actually be upwards of 5. Actually, I'd have to
from that same label. I can't remember.
I'd actually have to look back, and I think there might be 4 or 5 different people who have sent us stuff.
I know Scarlett still sends us stuff, and of course that was kind of the Ashes Rain boost there, kind of got us with them. So.
Before they signed with Affiant, yeah, they did.
Affiant, that's what I meant. Affiant, yeah. Sorry, but we do have Scarlet in our inbox too, and then we have Affiant, and we have
Affiant, Scarlet, RPM, and Purple Sage.
Purple Sage, yeah.
Yeah.
So we
craziness.
Yeah, we can't even keep up with that, much less
Nope.
anything else.
And that's the funny thing is I check our email every day, and it's just
Yeah, I do too. So, I
check
try
it
to
every day, and it's crazy. There's anywhere from like 6 to 10 emails, brand new emails a day in our inbox of just stuff that's coming out, whether it's coming out in the next week or two, or in the case of Richie's new album, a few months out. So, I mean, it all depends. Really, all depends.
Yeah. All right. So let's move into this week's episode, I guess.
Let's do that.
Let's see, where's my stuff here? Nothing like me to be prepared, right? I just feel like I forgot. Oh, God, I did. Well, you know what? Never mind. Because you know what I did? I forgot to do birthdays.
Oh, did you?
Oh, man, that's crazy.
Well, we were talking about it before we came on the show. I actually forgot to do this week's Metalhead Minute until yesterday morning, and I actually completely forgot about the theme of the week until last night.
Oh, did you? Really?
I mean, I got it done. I have it done, but I was like, oh fuck, I forgot to do the theme of the week, so I had to throw that together. I had completely forgot. It's been strange. This new shift I'm on, you go in, it's Thursday night, you get off, it's Friday morning, and just you lose track of time, and you lost track of what day it was and everything else. I was like, oh no. So I was doing my album review, and actually I was listening to my review album, and then I had just got the Metalhead Minute done. I was listening to my review album, and I was sitting here at the computer. I went, oh shit, I haven't even started the theme of the week yet. So
well, I mean, I can go through our page and we can give the shout outs that we've done there, I guess, for now, and then I'll put something together for the group and page there, so we can get everybody included. But I know from the last week we've got Matt, which is I don't know his last name because I'm just going by what's on here right now. I haven't really done any follow ups, so I'm just going by what's been posted. Sorry, but it's Matt, the guitarist for Nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
We had. And like I said, I don't have the dates, just the posts. So I can do it in my head, I guess. But
yeah, we did. There were quite a few posts for birthdays.
Yeah, and then we had Titan Fox from Hammer King. We had Daniel Edmondson, Arch Enemy drummer.
Yep.
We had Rob from Dystopica.
Hell, we got Lucas from Dystopica too.
I know, right? They had a lot of birthdays going on this week from that one. Then we had, of course, Dean Pleasance from Suicidal Tendencies.
Yep.
Let's see, Kenny Hickey, former Typo Negative guitarist.
Yep. There's Lucas's birthday. Lucas Della Porta from Dystopica.
Yeah. Then we had Cody from Wage War. Let's see. A lot of in memoriams this week too, man.
Yeah, too many in memoriams, which we'll get to.
And then we're going to add more. So
yeah, Mike Embro from Razor. Let's see. What else we got going on? We got Alan James Johnson from Exciter. What else we got going on? Trying to make sure that I don't go back. We got Jonas Rensky from Catatonia. He was on the 19th. Phil Rudd from AC/DC. He was on the 19th. Let's see. How far back we going? We're going. Let's see. Last Saturday was the 17th. Okay, I'm just making sure I don't go back.
Yeah.
Go back too far. Let's see. Mike from Slipknot. And let's see, that might actually be.
Yeah, I think that may be the last one. I think the rest of it's kind of.
Yeah, because the other one the next one on, we got Pat O'Brien from X Hoarder, and his birthday was on the 16th.
Yeah, which is fun. I mean, we can still see some.
Yeah. Well, Paul Diano, his birthday was the 17th. That was last Saturday.
Yeah.
So we got Paul Diano, who passed away last year, of course, in October. So not too long ago. So that was unfortunate. And I think that actually, well, Jonesy Dude bassist from the Dude, she was the 16th. So That
Yeah.
that does technically get us through the week. So
yeah, sorry that I did not post. I didn't do that. I was like, man, that's crazy. That's usually one of the first things I do while I'm.
right.
I usually actually do that while I'm listening to like the new records that I'm gonna review. I usually do the birthday because everything else is pretty much find and copy and paste kind of thing. So and then kind of like figure out where you want to stop copying and pasting that. So,
Yeah.
That's the big thing. So. Anyway, my apologies. So I guess happy birthday to those, and then I'll post
Right.
I'll post a follow up on the Metalheads Unite page there. So don't want anybody to get left out. So
Yep, absolutely.
I'm sure there was a lot out there that we didn't see or we missed. I mean, because we don't how social media is. Doesn't post everything in order. So which still like blows my mind why.
It really is weird how they haven't figured out how to keep all that in chronological order.
Yeah. Well, I think they have the algorithm set to where if you post this and then I post above you, well, if somebody commented on yours, it pushes it back up here. Because it's getting more traction, so they want the more traction stuff at the top. So, kind of the more relevant, I guess, is what they say.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move into this current events segment for this week. This one is. I mean,
it's going to be a rough one, man.
It's going to be kind of a downer, and we hate that. I mean, we hate it that everything that happened this week happened. So we'll try to get through this the best we can. But all right, leading off with the big story of the week. This one was everywhere. So I mean, take your pick. Any one of our outlets would have had it. I decided to go with metalsucks.net. So this one was from May 22nd, a couple days ago. Earlier today, news of a plane crash in the San Diego, California area barely registered in the music world, but all that changed now that we've since learned that former The Devil Wears Prada drummer Daniel Williams and Sound Talent Group STG owner Dave Shapiro were among the individuals killed in the accident. Williams was 39 and Shapiro was 42. For those that haven't kept up with the news, according to Fox 5 San Diego, a 1985 Cessna 550 was headed to Montgomery Gibbs Executive Airport when it fell out of the sky and crashed into multiple homes and vehicles in a military housing neighborhood. The crash set multiple homes ablaze as debris and jet fuel littered the area. Approximately 15 residences were affected by the fiery crash, forcing about 100 residents to evacuate their homes in the early morning hours. Though no deaths were reported among people on the ground, officials have confirmed that Shapiro, Williams, 2 STG employees, and other individuals were killed in the crash. Officials claim there were no survivors among those in the plane. Sound Talent Group represents a wide range of major bands, including Animals as Leaders, Beartooth, Between the Buried and Me, Black Veil Brides, Corrosion of Conformity, Devin Townsend, Down, Helmet, Hot Water Music, In This Moment, Killswitch Engage, Story of the Year, Zakk Wylde, and dozens more. In the past, Shapiro has also personally represented bands like Lamb of God, Clutch, Gwar, Opeth, and the list goes on. In a statement provided to Billboard, a spokesman for STG lamented the loss of life that occurred in the crash. Quote, "We are devastated by the loss of our co-founder, colleagues, and friends. Our hearts go out to their families and to everyone impacted by today's tragedy. Thank you so much for respecting their privacy at this time." End quote. In an Instagram post on the band's official page, The Devil Wears Prada posted images of Williams from his days with the band, posting only the caption, quote, "No words. We owe you everything. Love you forever." End quote. Daniels was a founding member of the band, having been a member from 2005 to his eventual departure in 2016. In that time, he was featured on every major The Devil Wears Prada studio effort, from 2006's Dear Love, A Beautiful Discord to 2011's Dead Throne. We at Metal Sucks offer our deepest condolences to the friends, loved ones, and colleagues of those lost in the crash, a sentiment we definitely echo here at the Metalheads Unite podcast.
Yeah, so good morning, Dana. I see Dana's joined us.
Hey,
there,
what's up, Dana?
Yeah, it's been a while, man. Hope everything's good. I know he's had some rough days lately, so hope everything's going well for you, Dana.
Yes, sir.
Oh man,
good to see you.
Let's see here. Well, my stuff isn't going to be as morbid, so we'll try to keep it. We'll try to balance out the moods here.
Yeah.
This one's definitely in the opposite direction. This one over from Metal Hammer, who had Trivium's road crew saving a litter of kittens from a diesel generator on their 2025 metal bingo card. probably not many. Trivia members Alex Bent and Palo Gregoletto. I can never say his name. Gregoletto and members of the band's crew were involved in a heartwarming rescue of 4 kittens who became trapped deep inside a giant diesel generator. Trivium shared footage of the rescue on their Instagram page, with fans calling it wholesome and metal as fuck. Others have called for new Trivium X Kitties merch as a result of the incident, which saw a crew member climb inside the generator for a full 5 minutes before emerging with the scared kittens one by one, handing them to awaiting firefighters. The crew member, called Glenn, was even presented with a firefighter's helmet and posed for photos with the firefighters from Cobb County Fire Department in Georgia. The bands performed at the Coca-Cola Roxy Theater in Atlanta this week, so that's kind of where they were in the area, I guess. But and then Trivium frontman Matt Hiffy commented, "quote Palo, Alex, and Glenn out here saving kittens' lives." So there you go. So you never know. Like I said, that's probably a road story that there's probably going to stick with them for the rest of their life, man. Just
probably.
That's what I was saying. Like, these road stories aren't always about parties and girls and mishaps. And I mean, there's good wholesome stuff that happens on the road too. So I mean,
yeah. The thing that pisses me off about that is these people who treat these animals this way.
Yeah.
Whoever had these kittens, I mean, and I understand that, hey, I couldn't afford to take care of them or whatever, whatnot. I had a family member get ill. I get that. I get that there's extenuating circumstances and stuff like that. But don't throw these animals in the trash or in a dumpster or in a river or throw them off a bridge. I mean, for fuck's sake. I mean, take them somewhere. Take them somewhere. Yeah. Take them to an animal shelter. Do something humane with them. If you can't take care of them, that's understandable. Don't just throw these animals away. They're not trash.
Well, here's the thing too, is like, you have social media, post it on there and tell them, hey, free kittens. I mean, or something. I mean, people.
Yeah, I mean, don't.
People that would take the kittens. I mean, hell, I just rescued a puppy. So I mean,
I saw that.
So.
That's how that's how we got our current dog. We rescued her. So, I mean,
I didn't really rescue her. I mean, they were fine where they were at. She just was in an apartment complex and was like, hey, I can't take 8 puppies. She didn't think they were going to have that big of a litter. So she was just like, yeah, I was expecting a few, but not 8. So, anybody wants a lab puppy. So I was like, oh yeah, I've always wanted a lab. So I got a little golden lab. So
labs are good dogs.
Yeah, she's a miss. Like, she chose me. We kind of walked into the apartment or whatever, and I said, well, we'll go, we'll look around and see what's what they have or whatever. So me and Susie went up to the apartment and looked, and I didn't even get in the door good. She walked up, started biting on my pants legs. So I was like, well, I guess you're going home with me. You chose me. So, and she's been great. So
yeah, that's good.
And we named her Lilith, and not because of kissing Lilith, even though they would probably love that. But everybody knows I'm a supernatural guy, so
yeah,
everything in our household is probably named after supernatural stuff. So, our other dog's name is Sammy, so it's, all of our cars are named after characters on the show. So,
well, I mean, that's still cool though, regardless of the inspiration. So,
well, yeah, but I was just because I mean. Speaking of which, if you haven't seen yet, that video for Kissing Lilith is up everywhere now. So,
yes, it is.
And also we talked about Brian Slagel's metal earlier. So just want to let you know that was up as well. So we got to interview him at Rockin' Pod. So that 30-minute interview's up on Spotify as well. So,
which is still crazy that we got to do that.
Yeah, it is.
Crazy that we got to do that.
Man, like I said, Rockin' Pod gave us some great moments with
really
Ricky Rackman and now Slagles. I mean, it's kind of.
I mean, Cheney Crab.
Oh yeah.
Craig and Chris from the podcast.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if you've seen. I commented on one of their posts the other day, and they liked it. I was like, I did. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. I did.
They're cool guys, man.
They are.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of these stars aren't really, they don't seem like they're rock stars. You know what I mean? They're just kind of. They act like every day.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. You get some of them that act like they're bigger than everybody else, but most of the people we've met is pretty laid back and yes, I got money, but who cares? It's kind of like I am who I am. So,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
that's what I like. I don't think it's like they always say money changes you, but I haven't seen
only
a
if you let
lot
it.
of
Yeah.
it. Well, yeah, exactly. I haven't seen a lot of it with what we do, of course, but
No, no. I
we
mean,
of course we don't have any, but
right, yeah. If I ever get any, it might change me. I don't know.
I doubt it.
We'll have to see what
I,
happens if it
yeah,
happens.
I'm telling you, man, wouldn't nobody probably ever know I had money?
Yeah.
I mean, because I'm just not an extravagant person. I guess
Nah.
even if I had $1 million, I'd still be buying Nikes and Old Navy jeans. I'm still not going.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go out to shop at Macy's and all this other stuff. I just don't shop at places like that. So.
Yeah. That's true.
And then there's other people in California going, Macy's? That's not Prada.
No, it isn't, but
It is in Tennessee.
I mean, it's not.
Uh,
Yeah. All right. Staying at Metal Sucks for this next one. This one from May 20th. Some incredibly sad news came out of the trap/nu metal outfit Dropout Kings overnight as the band revealed that their vocalist and founding member Adam Lee Ramey passed away on May 19th. He was just 32 years old. The band posted a heartfelt tribute on their social media remembering Ramey. Having been with the band since its inception in 2016, he was featured on Dropout King's 2 full-length efforts, 2018's Audio Dope and 2023's Riot Music. In light of their loss, the band posted the following statement, quote, Adam Lee Ramey, 5/24/92 to 5/19/25. Life comes at you in ways you can never predict. The roller coaster of chasing your dreams and building with your brothers and friends is a joy few get to know in the most genuine sense, and one we were beyond blessed to experience with one another as Dropout Kings. Even still, we cannot always expect things to go the way we dream, nor can we understand just how special each moment with our friends and family are until those moments are memories. With the heaviest hearts, we share that our brother Adam Ramey has passed away. His passion, energy, and love for music shaped Dropout Kings and touched countless lives. We're devastated, to say the least, but Adam's spirit, charisma, and energy will not only forever inspire us, but will push us into the future, but to be the best that we can. We appreciate you all during this time, and know he absolutely did as well for all the times we've shared. Thank you for everything, Chip. Rest in power, Adam. We'll always love you, fam. End quote. Details surrounding his passing are scarce at this time, but once we learn more, we'll be sure to pass along that information. In the meantime, we at Metal Sucks want to extend our deepest condolences to Ramey's friends, family, and loved ones during this incredibly difficult time. Again, a sentiment that we share here, and if and when we do hear more surrounding the cause of death, if that ever comes out. I don't really mind if it doesn't, because that's kind of like one of those things. It's like not really our business per se, but if we find that information out, we'll take a minute to pass that along to you guys. So
yeah, that's and I think the biggest thing with me is the ages that we're talking about here in these deaths, man. It's just it's such
32, 39, 42. Yeah, I know.
They're younger than we are, so I mean, it's kind of like oh man, it's just sad, dude. So I'm not sure what happened with the plane stuff either, but
yeah, that's the whole thing. I mean,
I want to say probably kind of a situational where I don't even remember what time of day did that happen. Do you remember?
It was, I don't remember the exact time, but I mean, I still have the story pulled up. Let's see.
I wonder if it was like an early morning, because I know like they get real foggy there in the mornings.
It was in the morning. Hang on a second.
It's kind of how
it said forcing about 100 residents to evacuate their homes in the early morning hours. So it doesn't have the exact time. So I don't know if it was pre-sunrise, after sunrise.
Well, I was still going to guess, like, because I know they have a lot of fog early in the morning there. That's kind of like if you remember, that's how Kobe Bryant passed away, is because the helicopter was trying to fly in the fog and probably shouldn't have been flying. So
no, it shouldn't have been. They advised that pilot not to fly in those conditions. And
so I don't know if that's the same situation, but I would probably come to guess that it's probably something similar in that area, being California, and it's kind of the same area. So.
Yeah, I guess we'll see if they recover the flight recorder and see what the NTSB have to say about it.
See if there was a Mayday put out or anything like that before an engine failure or something. So.
Yeah.
You'd almost think that's kind of what happened with it flying into houses, though, because I mean, there's no way they would have just, unless they hit something first and then went down, I guess, but in the fog. But
I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, we'll
like
see.
I said, there's a lot of things that could have happened with that, I guess, but
on one of those Cessnas, yeah.
All right, this one over from Metal Sucks. This they may be just a little tad late to celebrate the 30th anniversary of 1994's Blasphemy Made Flesh, but Cryptopsy and Season of Mist announced a special commemorative reissue of that album that's going to feature some pretty unique additions, set to release on July 18th. This new and expanded version of Blasphemy Made Flesh will feature the original album, a previously unreleased 1995 live set, and a new medley featuring the following artists: Shadow of Intent vocalist Ben Dewar, Stabbing vocalist Bridget Lynch, Undeath vocalist Alexander Sasson, Carcosa vocalist Johnny Ciardulo, I guess. I don't know. Unfathomable Ruination vocalist Malika, oh my gosh, Sundara Murthy, I guess. That's what it looks like. So
we'll go with it.
Yeah, we'll go with it. Billy Strings contributing a guitar solo, and in a major case of one of these things is not like the other. Yes, that's famed bluegrass musician Billy Strings, in a list that also includes Undeath's Alexander Sasson and Carcosa's Johnny's Ciardulo. Little known fact about Strings: he's a pretty big metalhead. Dude can shred. This new edition of Blasphemy Made Flesh will be released on July 18th via Season of a Mist, but you can pre-order your copy right now at their website. So there you go. Pretty cool little compilation there. So
yeah, nice little guest lineup there going on.
Yeah, especially with that that kind of type of metal there. So,
all right,
I guess
going over
genre, rather. I guess that's what we want to talk about.
Right? Yeah.
We kind of talked about that last week, but just
yeah, we did. All right, moving over to Blabbermouth for this next one. Guitarist Chris Hager, a founding member of Stephen Pearcy's pre-Rat band Mickey Rat, has died at the age of 67. Hager met Pearcy in 1976, and the pair formed Mickey Rat a year later. Hager eventually left the band in 1981 and joined Rough Cut as the replacement for Jake E. Lee. Earlier today, that being the 19th, Pearcy shared the following statement via social media, quote, "I am very saddened to hear about the passing of our dear friend, guitarist, and musician, Christopher Chris Hager today. Chris and I started Mickey Rat together in San Diego in 1977, and moving to LA really created the band Rat in 1981. He was an amazing person, a great guitarist, songwriter, and so committed to being just that. Chris went on to create projects over the years with Rough Cut, Whoop, and The Count, and Percy Hager. We were actually working on new songs recently. I'm at a loss, my friend. God bless you, brother. As of this time, the family would respect privacy," end quote. Eric Ferentinos, the guitarist in Pearcy's solo band, posted the following message on his official Facebook page, quote, "R.I.P. Chris Hager. This is very sad news. I've known Chris for over 30 years, from recording my first band's demos in the late 80s at Pearcy's to playing in the solo band. My condolences to all his friends and family," end quote. All right, let's see. Get into a little bit of this too long, didn't read stuff that's not actually pertinent to what we're talking about. Let's see. Actually, we're just going to leave that right there, because looking at everything else, it looks like it's just stuff going back from 2021 and stuff like that. So we're just going to leave that right there. And we will we'll move on. But again, just like the two stories from Metal Sucks, condolences and thoughts and prayers to friends, family, and coworkers. And also do not know the cause of death for Chris Hager either. So we'll see if that comes out too.
So imagine having to be invited to audition for a band that Jakey Lee played for, and you're his replacement. It's like, Jesus Christ.
I know, right? Yeah.
I mean, the guy obviously is talented, or he wouldn't have been able to replace Jakey Lee for sure. So it's pretty crazy. And it's like Mickey Rat. Was that like I wonder if that was like a kind of like a play on a Mickey Mouse, I guess. But
I have no idea, because I had actually never heard of it
I hadn't either. That's why I was kind of like,
I had never heard of it until.
But when you said it in the way it was said, I was like, I wonder if that was kind of like what they were going for. It would kind of make sense, I guess. But
it would. I mean, especially since it's actually. I mean, Mickey. They spelled it the same way. So I mean, I don't know if there's any direct correlation or not. So who knows?
Yeah. Mickey Rat was better, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right, this is my last story over from Metal Injection. Drummer Josh Freese was recently and very mysteriously fired from the Foo Fighters. At this time, Freese noted he was not given at the time. Freese was noted that he was not given a reason, which is wild considering Freese joined Foo Fighters in 2023 after the death of Taylor Hawkins, and the band made a pretty big deal about it. Quote, the Foo Fighters called me Monday night to let me know they decided to go in a different direction with their drummer, wrote Freese on being fired. No reason was given. Regardless, I enjoyed the past 2 years with them, both on and off stage. I support whatever they feel is best for the band, wrote Freese. I'm in my 40 years of drumming professionally, I've never been let go from a band, so while I'm not angry, just a bit shocked and disappointed. But as most of you know, I've always worked freelance and bounced between bands, so I'm fine. Stay tuned for my top 10 possible reasons Josh got booted from the Foo Fighters list.
I saw that.
End quote. While Freese still has no clue why he got fired, he's at least published a list of top 10 reasons why he thought it may have happened. Personally, I'm guessing it's the metronome reason. Maybe Freese is just too much of a mutant behind the kit. He said these were the top 10. One was once whistled My Hero for a week solid on a tour. He could only name one Fugazi song. 2 words, polyrhythms. Don't know if he knows, but polyrhythms is a compound word, not 2 words.
Yeah.
Metronome-like precision behind the kit, deemed soulless. Demanded starting every rehearsal with a 20-minute cowbell sound bath. Needs more cowbell.
Always.
Never even once tried growing a beard. I don't know if that was real. Didn't show up to the studio because Mercury was in retrograde. Promised Noodles he could be 4th guitarist. Refused to perform unless he was guaranteed a Ouija board and nunchucks after every show. The whole poodle thing was getting a bit too much. And no, Foo Fighters has still not commented on Freese being fired. So,
well, at least he's got a sense of humor about it. So.
Well, yeah. I think that's pretty funny.
Oh man,
but that's it's still unfortunate that happened. But like I said, we don't know what what kind of led to it. Maybe it was he was the best fit for kind of to come in and play a lot of Taylor stuff, and then now maybe they're thinking maybe we need to go in a different direction, and
maybe.
And like I said, without the death of Taylor Hawkins, maybe this new direction would never happen. You know what I mean? So
it's true.
So maybe it's maybe it winds up being a positive for the band at some point. I hate for a death to make a positive.
Yeah.
But, that's kind of sometimes that's how it works, man. I mean, you had people AC/DC for. I mean, Bon Scott died, and then look, I mean, they're still touring. So I mean, obviously, not to say they wouldn't have been with Bon Scott, by no means, but I'm just saying they were blessed with having a replacement that was just as good and able to do the things that Bon was doing. So hopefully they're able to find somebody that's more equivalent to Taylor, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Right. The band survived and flourished out of tragedy.
Right.
Yeah.
So, it's not that I'm saying that's a good thing he passed away. It's not.
No, of course not.
Like I said, man, this to me is Foo Fighters. Foo Fighters proved to me they're an underrated band when they did the Dream Widow album, because people were just always knocking them about, every show Dave went to, they were just like, trying to get him to do those growls. He could do them because he did them live on stage. I watched him do them. I said, man, that's crazy. And then 4 years later, they did that death metal record. I'm like, that's fucking wild.
Yeah.
And it was a good record. That's what's even worse. Is it's kind of like you think, oh well, you wanted to be like, oh, that's Foo Fighters, and it ain't gonna be no good. And then you listen to it, and you're like, oh wow, that's kind of impressive. So it's it's not like so. Maybe not saying that's a direction they're probably going to go in. Not under the Foo Fighters name. I don't think. Like I said, that's kind of why he changed the name and everything because he didn't want to get people mixed up with saying we were going death metal or nothing.
Yeah, that would be a complete 180 for them.
Well, yeah, because that's not what the Foo Fighters are about. So and I commemorate him for that, sticking to what his band is known for. Not trying to like go a full 360 kind of
a complete
a whole different genre of music. So
a complete identity change.
Yeah, you don't want like I said, he was smart by not doing that because I think that would have probably hurt the Foo Fighters.
It would have. I guarantee you it would have.
Yeah. So, but he gained extra fans from the death metal community on Dream Widow. So
yeah, right. Yeah.
And even me, I like that album, and I'm not like I said, we've said this before. I'm not a full death metal fan, but So.
It turned out very well.
Yeah, the movie was corny as hell, but that's
it was supposed to be really.
Well, yeah, it was.
Yeah, so, I mean, it accomplished what it was meant to. So,
but they had some actual decent actors in that movie too, which was wild. So,
yeah. All right, I've got 3 more, so we'll try to move through these relatively quickly. My next one is over at rockmeeting.com and is actually oh fucking hell, it untranslated it. Hold on just a second.
Oh my god. Oh, well, you know what? I do have one more too. By the way, sorry. That's fine. I had one from this morning that I didn't get to put in my notes. So
okay, all right. I'm going to get back to this one because I'm going to have to retranslate it into English.
Okay.
So I'm going to go back. I'll go back to Metal Sucks for a second. Love him or hate him, musician Nick Nocturnal has been a mainstay of the online metal community for more than a decade. From straight-up guitar covers to hilarious skits to his popular Twitch stream, he carved a niche in the online space to become a fun standard-bearer for the music. Unfortunately for his fans and the metal community as a whole, that's all coming to an end, but not without at least one parting gift to the people that supported him. In a post on his Instagram, Nocturnal revealed that he's stepping back from his YouTube channel to take stock of his life. Apparently, a lot of things have happened over the years in his personal life that he's not been able to really deal with while building a career on a platform based on an all-encompassing and unforgiving algorithm. Similarly, in a YouTube video explaining his retirement, Nocturnal explained that there had been multiple times over the last 11 years where he's eschewed important personal responsibilities to keep up with what's going on in the metal world. Rather than continue that trend and live in a near constant state of burnout, he's walking away. Quote, after creating content for over 11 years, I've decided to take an indefinite break from uploading to focus on some important real life stuff and figure out what's next for me. Full explanation is up on my YouTube channel. Thank you to everyone who has ever shown support to the channel or the amazing community we've built over the years. Whether you watched one video or stuck with me for a decade, you've been a small part of something I'll never forget. This channel changed my life, and so did many of you. For now, I'm stepping away to reconnect with myself and figure out what comes next, end quote. Rather than simply vanishing into the ether to address his personal needs, Nocturnal gave his fans one final chunk of new music in the form of a 2000s-esque metalcore release dubbed the Lost Chapters EP. Now available on the popular digital streaming platforms, the EP features collaborations with All That Remains, Darkest Hour, Caliban, Bury Tomorrow, and The Ghost Inside. As someone that's constantly on the internet to write about metal every day ad infinitum, myself and everyone at Metal Sucks salutes Nick Nocturnal. Hopefully this time away will help him find the clarity he needs. So, and again, I think we both wholeheartedly agree with that. I mean, if there's things in your life you need to take care of, whether it's just relationships or mental health, I mean, do it. Look out for yourself, man. Look out for yourself. You've carved out a fan base, and if you ever decide to come back one day, they'll be waiting for you. So,
man.
I mean, do what you got to do.
I think it's more. I think it's more
anyone
like
who's got a problem that isn't.
Yeah, these people are on the roads and stuff like that, and I think people don't realize, like, when you're out doing those things, you're performing as that, musician. You're just a musician at that point, and you don't have a time to be yourself. I guess in a way, to be, a father, or a husband, or wife, or mother, or whatever the case may be. It's you kind of get a, when you're out on the road, you can't do those things. Even if you take your kids, like, here we go. I know you're going to kiss me, but I know from experience, watching wrestlers do this is like taking their kids to the shows with them and stuff. It's like, I've had to watch some of my some people's kids, and those guys are had went to TNA and WWE and all those places, like, and I watched their kids. So I mean, while they were working that night in the show that I was at or whatever, and it's crazy to think that, but that's how it has to work because that's their money, that's what they're doing as a living. So if you're going to these concerts, you got to realize that these people may have kids there, stuff like that. That you got one of the other bands watching your kids while you're performing, and you kind of get caught up in like all the other stuff, and then your kids kind of just, hanging there, I guess, we could bring Richie on and let him explain kind of how that works. Cause I'm sure he knows. So it's, I mean, he even said he was at Ozzy's house a lot, so I mean, he was,
and the funny thing is, like in Richie's case, cause I mean, he was on both ends of that. At one point,
exactly.
At one point, he was the kid being watched, and now that he's grown up, I mean, I don't even think we did. We ask him if he's got kids? I can't even remember.
I think he mentioned something about it. Yeah.
Okay.
I think he said something about an ex-wife and kids and stuff.
Oh, that's right. He did mention the divorce. Yeah. But so he's gone from both ends. He was the watched to now having to have family members who probably are in the same boat. It's like, I need you to take care of this while I'm gone.
But,
and stuff
the
like
thing,
that.
the edge that he had though is he knew it was coming. You know what I mean? Because he'd already been through it, so he kind of knew what he had to do to become a musician. So.
Yep.
And I think that's what he kind of talked about too, is like a lot of these people come in and be like, oh yeah, I'll play guitar for you. Well, okay, well, we just got a record deal and they want us to do 72 days. Oh, I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like, you have to be committed enough to be, Ashes Rain talked about that, where they got a record label and then like all of a sudden 2 members of the band couldn't do anything, and they had to replace them. So it's kind of like, it sucks because you're right where you want to be as a musician. So what I don't understand that. To me, this is what you kind of worked for, and then you get the opportunity and then say, oh, I can't do it. Like it's I mean, I do in a way get it because I had to do something similar to that, but I kind of did it before I got offered anything because I already knew it was coming. Like I knew the offer was going to be there at some point, and I was just like, you know what, I don't even know why I'm here because I can't do anything. To me, I made a decision for me and the company, because if I would have stayed there and then got offered a deal and then been like 2 weeks in, like, I can't do this, you know what I mean? Then I'm like, shit, I just shit canned a bunch of damn, storylines and all this other stuff. So, I mean, if you're doing that in a band, okay, we're in a band, we get these 2 guys, we get a record label, we get a deal. Okay, they can't do it. Well, now we're having a shit can dates. We're having a shit can, you know what I'm saying? Shit can an album, we're having a shit can all this stuff because 2 guys aren't committed as you are. So, I mean, like I said, that's what I think Richie was saying, is like, he's finally got a band that's as committed as he is.
Yeah.
And it shows, it really does. Like, if you listen to the music, and I think Asher's Rain, same thing. I mean, if we saw him live and it was just, you could tell everybody was in sync with what's going on. So, I mean, and I think you can say the same thing with Halo Scars. I mean, because that's a band that has probably a 15-year gap from the oldest to the youngest guy in the band. So it's kind of like and I know, I mean, the bassist has 2 young kids. They just had twins a couple years ago.
Right.
So I mean, but they're right there. So it's kind of like, okay, you're going to have to make that decision. And hopefully he's got a good support system that says, hey, do your fucking thing, And I think that's the main thing. I think you got to have a good support system in anything entertainment-wise you're going to do. You have to have a good support system to help you with child care and, whatever,
Oh, no question.
Feeding your animals while you're gone or whatever the case may be. So, everybody can't afford a nanny, right out the gate. So, anyway, I wanted to do a follow up for something I posted. The band Temptress, the crew said they would like to thank you for the amazing words and support from around the world, but our metal legend drummer Nicholas Boland. On Thursday night, Nicholas had a heart, which was last Thursday, by the way, not just past Thursday. So on Thursday night, Nick had a heart attack while on stage at our show with Burning Witches. Nick, being the warrior he is, did not stop the show and played on. was not until he got off stage he knew something was not right. He was rushed to the hospital and had an emergency operation, and Temptress had to walk away from the rest of the tour. But Nick has pulled through and will hopefully be back home in a few days, and Nick cannot wait to get back behind the kit as soon as possible because the metal is in his veins. So thanks again for all your support. You guys are the best. Temptress will see you all on the road again soon. So that was kind of an update. I know I posted something about him having the heart attack, but that was kind of an update saying that he's all good, and which is good to hear. So hopefully he'll get healthy, and then they can get back on tour, and which was crazy because that would have been a good tour for those guys to be kind of opening for Burning Witches. So
yeah. But goddamn, I mean, calm down, Richie Faulkner, son of a bitch.
I know, right? That's exactly what I was thinking when I read that. I said, damn, these guys trying to just.
I mean, you can't keep these guys down, man. Bunch of fucking warriors.
But I mean, this goes back to what I'm saying is, sports and music and anything like that. Your adrenaline's going so much as a lot of times you don't realize you're even hurt until it's like just downright obvious. I mean, at some point you just kind of like, got to go, wow, what the hell's that? It's like, that wasn't hurting when I went out here.
Exactly.
So,
but here's the funny thing, for him and for Richie, heavy metal saved their lives.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because they were performing in both their cases. They were performing when it happened, and like you said, the adrenaline rush and everything kept them going until they were able to get medical attention, and they were able to make it through. And in Richie's case, recover, and in his case, he's on the road to the same thing. So,
and if you think about it, if you go back to like Nikki Sixx, when they shot him with adrenaline. So I mean, it's kind of like if you think about it, you just had natural adrenaline instead of somebody injecting it in you. So.
Yep.
So, but good to hear he's doing well. Hopefully, get back on the road and get everything going again for that band. So that band seemed like they were kind of on the cusp of doing some great things too. And then there's always an obstacle to get over. So
yep, there always is. Speaking of my last story over at blabbermouth.net, vocalist Lou Collar of New York hardcore legend Sick of It All, who recently underwent chemotherapy after being diagnosed with an esophageal tumor, has shared a new video message in which he said, quote, "Hey everybody, what's up? I've got some good news for everyone. I got my test results back, the scan results, I mean, and it turns out it looks like there's nothing left, no more cancer, so I'm officially cancer-free right now. Thank God for that, and thank you all for your positive vibes, your prayers, and all your well wishes. Thank you so much for all your support, and I'm really happy about this. Now I can get on to trying to get myself back to normal instead of this chicken neck and all this stuff. And thank you. That's all I can say. I'm really happy. I still have to go for a new scan every 6 months for the next couple of years to make sure it's still out of me, but as of now, I'm cancer-free. Thank you, everybody, so much." So there you go. That's after everything else we had to report today. We got a little bit of good news that we can end on. So
yeah, good stuff.
So I'm happy to hear about that for Lou. So.
All right, I guess we'll talk about some other headlines here, and we can kind of touch base on any of those you want to. But the first one's kind of a, I think we've talked about this before. But Sleep Tokens, even in Arcadia, hit number 1 in the U.S. Billboard chart and set 2 crazy new records for rock music. Rock should be in quotations, but that's just me.
That's kind of the same way I feel about it. But I mean,
maybe for rock techno or something. I don't know. But anyway, I don't.
I am genuinely happy for them. I really am. I'm genuinely happy. I'm genuinely happy for the band. But.
And it's bringing people to the genre. So we can't.
And that's always a good thing. But I mean. And we talked about it last week at the end of the show before we went off the air. I listened to the new album, and it's not. Bottom line, it's not for me. I don't get it. It's not. Yeah, for me. But that's fine. That's just me.
It's definitely strange stuff, man. Anyway, and next on the headlines, yes, Nicolas Cage, the A-list actor, is a big fan of Nicolas Cage Fighter, the Australian hardcore band. I did not know that, but he actually sent out a tweet to him and said, "You guys are awesome." Kind of gave him a thumbs up for using the name. So, Ozzy on the Farewell World Tour, the original Black Sabbath will never be on stage together again, which is kind of, kind of a, um, I don't know. I guess it's kind of like it's hard for me to hear that because knowing what we know is that you're kind of like the originators of heavy metal. Mm-hmm. So you're talking about the originators being done like mm-hmm. never like, again. So
it's definitely going to be weird, just the finality of it, But,
yeah,
I mean, exactly. They're all in their 70s. I mean,
right? Yeah, it's
different
just
ailments and stuff like that. So
I guess just things that went like so fast. It's just kind of hard to comprehend that that's they're that old and it's like officially over. I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So man, this is crazy to think about. But anyway, Wednesday 13th is going to play all of Mid-Death Crisis at their upcoming UK tour dates. The Dillinger Escape Plan is the mystery band added to this year's Furnace Fest. Then let's see, the band Torch reunites, and they have already announced their first show back. So, congrats to those guys. That's what I'm saying. Like a lot of things that's going on now, especially like we talked about with the festivals and stuff, with bands reuniting and stuff. It's triggered a new spark in these bands, and they're kind of like, hey, let's reunite and do some shit, So, mm-hmm. And that's never a bad thing, for me. I love to hear it. So,
mm-hmm, me too.
Because I'm just like, hey, that's more new music coming. so there's probably a lot of fans that were, fans of that band, and they're like, oh wow, this is cool. We get to see them again. Thought mm-hmm. we'd never get to do that. Kind of like the, not exactly like the Pantera thing, but I can see kind of the resemblance. Pantera's not doing albums or anything, but they did. They are touring, so it's kind of like mm-hmm. you never thought you would hear that again after Diamond Vinny died. So
right.
So it's kind of cool.
That's why what they're doing is important. I mean, you can be pissed that you can be pissed if you want to. We've talked about on the show before. They got permission from the estate, and no, it's not. It's not. It's not the original Pantera. Of course, even Philip Anselmo is not the original Pantera.
Right.
You can piss and moan and bitch and whine about it all you want.
Yeah.
It is what if you don't want to fucking listen to it, don't go. I mean, that's all. It's happening.
Yeah.
And it is what it is.
Phil and Rex are the second, are part of the second coming of Pantera.
That's right.
So if it wasn't for that version of Pantera, we probably wouldn't even be talking about Pantera.
Exactly. So like I say, you can love it, you can hate it. It's happening. Don't buy a ticket if you don't want to.
Yeah. But yeah, I was just kind of saying that's kind of the same difference, but
yeah. Well, and here's another. Here's
I think the 20-year-old people would have never got to see this until
exactly
now, so.
Right. And here's another thing about this about these bands like Torch and stuff like that reuniting and stuff like that, and whether it doesn't really matter what happened because we report on the show a lot about bands breaking up, this, that, and the other thing. Whatever the reasons are, it's always good when a band can come back together because especially like the way I look at it, especially if a band may have kind of parted ways on less than good terms, mm-hmm. if they can get in a room together and they can kind of, work some, get in the room and
Mm-hmm.
get in the room and talk and work some things out. Yeah. So when a band comes back together, regardless of the circumstances, it's a good thing. But because not every band is Fear Factory with Dino and Burton and Skid Row with Sebastian Bach and everyone else. Everyone else. But sometimes bands break up under acrimony. And it's good when a band can kind of, all right, let's get in a room, let's hash this out, let's work it all out, and let's see where it goes. So it's always a good thing, but
and
if a band gets back together under the auspices of healing some old wounds, I think it's even better.
And they're not really metal, but they just announced Jane's Addiction are done. They're not going to work together again because of that fight on stage. So
yeah, Dave Navarro said, yeah, no, there's no fucking way. So,
yeah, which I don't blame him. I mean,
I don't either.
Kind of some bullshit. But
yeah, I don't either.
All right, here's another return. Unleashed returns with War Comes Again, and their new record is announced to be due out in August. So look forward to that new album as well. Um, Sensinum, I guess that's how you say that, is back with their first new album since Joy Jordison's death. I guess that was his after Slipknot project there. So
one of them.
Yeah, one of them, yeah. Max Cavalera said he's very proud of the upcoming Soulfly album, hints at a possible October release. So,
nice.
Yeah, might be getting new Soulfly this year. We got the Cavaleras, going off against each other for album of the year, man. Iron Maiden requests fans severely limit their phone usage during their upcoming tour. That's so. Let me tell you the difference with what Tool does and what was just said there. They said they request you limit it. Not saying you can't use it at all, just kind of limit it. You know what I mean? And I think that's probably a good way to put it because you're not going to get people to not use their phone. Like, motherfucker, I paid $100 for this ticket. I'm going to do what the fuck I want. That's kind of the way I look at it. Like we've said before, we don't like people that record the whole show. Which here lately, you weren't at the show the other night, but man, there was not a lot of recording going on at that Bullet and Trivium show.
That's good.
That I seen. Of course, we were kind of up front. So
yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of like I look around and like there was like people that would pop up for like you say a minute or two and then they put their phone down or whatever. But me, I have certain songs that I wait for,
right?
Because I have a thing that I put together in my flash drive for certain songs that I wanted to hear live.
Right.
And then once I've done that, then I'm good. You know what I mean? So, I've actually seen Lamb of God so many times, unless they come out with something new, I could just watch the show because, I done got damn near everything I wanted from from those guys at Non-Point. You know what I'm saying? Bands I've seen a dozen times. You don't need to do that anymore. You know what I mean? It's like this was kind of like I may not see Bullet from a Valentine again. I don't know. So, it was kind of like maybe a one-time thing for me. So, you never can tell. So,
right.
But yeah, I kind of get that. I think that's probably worded perfectly, honestly, to say, hey, we just want you to severely limit your phone usage. Take the video here and there, but don't be up with all, fine, whatever.
Right.
I hate to tell you, I've never seen Iron Maiden, so I'll probably record the whole show. I would not do that. There is some stuff I would want to hear,
but I agree though. I do the same thing. I take pictures and there are a couple of songs. Yeah. Same thing. Is like, I want to hear this song when they play it. I'm like, I want to see this. So, I do the same thing, but no, first of all, my damn arms would get tired for Christ's sake. It's like, my arms are,
I was holding it up and they were like Bullet from a Valentine was bullshitting in one of the songs. I was like, dude, it's 6 minutes here. My shoulder's hurting.
Yeah.
But it's pretty. I think that's a pretty good one. Soundgarden's Ben Shepherd reflects on the band's final unreleased album, so that's kind of interesting. I guess this is going to be a last recording of Chris Cornell, I guess.
Right.
Then we had I don't know how they pronounce this band's name. It's CH Thonic.
Yeah, I've never exactly known how to pronounce that either. Chthonic, I don't really know.
Or Chthonic, I don't know. It's crazy. But anyway, the band member Freddie Lim was appointed as Taiwan's ambassador to Finland, which is
I saw that. That's kind of cool.
So normally we don't mix metal and politics, but here we are. Despite disbanding nearly 50 years ago, Alice Cooper feels like the original band hasn't missed a beat on the upcoming record, which that's good news, I guess. So. Yeah. Those guys played together for a long time, though.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lord Buffalo drummer was detained by Customs and Border Patrol, allegedly due to violating a restraining order.
I remember seeing that story when it first came out, and in order to avoid this from getting political, a lot of people, when it first came out, they were like, it's just because he's brown. It's like, and then it came out that he had a warrant. It's like, right. That's why they did it. So get your, stop jumping to conclusions that it's all about race. Motherfucker had a warrant. So,
right. Well, the story I posted didn't have a reasoning. The first story I posted on the page,
right,
so,
and that's what I'm saying.
That's why when I read this, I said, "Oh, well, we could talk about it now because it actually has a reason."
Right,
So,
that's what I'm saying, because I saw the original story, and everyone's like, "Oh, well, that's just Trump being racist," and then it turns out he had a warrant. It's like if you got a warrant, they find you, man, you're going. Doesn't matter what color you are, you got a warrant, you're going.
that's true, man. That's
so yeah, everyone in their goddamn knee jerk reactions, of course. So
well, that's why I try to tell people when they're just like when everybody was going crazy about the fucking tariff thing. I had friends of mine going to these fucking like you know what do you call them? It's like the protests and stuff, and I'm just like, you do know you need to give that time before you just go out and just start raising your voice at shit because you don't know what you're raising your voice at yet.
Yeah.
Because those things take time to play out.
Mm-hmm.
And then now, everything's fizzled out. And I said, I didn't want to tell them, but I'm just thinking, yeah, now you all look like a bunch of fucking fools because it's like there's no difference than it was 4 months ago. So, yeah, it took a hit like 1 week, but you're right back to where you were at. So, just, unless you were planning on retiring in those 4 weeks period, then I guess,
right.
Which I doubt because you're my age. So,
yeah.
Yeah, it's just crazy for people to just jump the gun with stuff. That's why I usually like, even sharing stories, I'm just like, it probably needs a little bit more, content to this before we kind of talk about it or share it or whatever. Especially with music, I'm always kind of like looking at, just like, we talked about the Judas Priest thing when you sent it to me. I said, hey, you may want to check into that because I got a thing saying that stuff was fake, was AI generated.
Yeah.
Which then I actually did some more research on it. It is going to be coming, but it's not on Netflix. So.
Yeah, I decided to just kind of like leave that. Of course, the funny thing is like with all of the other stories that kept coming out, I kind of pushed it off to the wayside.
Yeah,
for now,
yeah. But there is a documentary in the works, but it's not going to be on Netflix. So
yeah,
according to what I've read, anyway. So.
Yeah. So
and it's not even like finalized or anything. It's still like they're still like talking about doing it. So it's kind of like people were sharing this, and then they shared one with Accept too, and I'm like, y'all motherfuckers need to quit with this AI shit. Like, that's where AI is getting a little bit out of control, man. Y'all are you're able to push false narratives and all that shit. It's like just stop already.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of what they're to me. And from what I've seen, is AI is going to be used as it being weaponized.
Yeah.
Sorry, but that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, no, because humans are fucking garbage. In general, humans are trash.
Yep. So.
We can't have anything nice. Not saying that AI is nice, but I mean, if there's anything nice, humans are gonna bastardize it. They're gonna anything that could be used in a beneficial way. No, we're gonna take it and we're gonna fucking ruin it. So
well, I just heard Amazon has a little facility somewhere that they're already running full AI. They're running like robots and stuff in it, trying to test the waters and stuff. It's like it's the worst ran site in the networks. It's garbage, dude. It's just like I'm just like, well, that's because you think that they're going to take over. You're still going to have that human person there. You're still going to have some humans there. You're not going to be able to just get rid of them altogether.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, somebody's got to fix them and work on them and all that shit. So, I mean, you got to have somebody there.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, it's been crazy, dude. Like they were posting this big thing about it. And my wife's was talking about it, saying that they were talking about how they've been messing up stuff and all this. I'm like, well, I mean, there you go. So, I mean, you can't fully depend on it. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, if you want to do a 50-50 or something, maybe, probably, but you're not going to be able to fully depend on stuff like that because, that's going to be, honestly, if that happens, it's going to be the downfall of Amazon, in my opinion. But, they already, because people, I mean, how many people still get their packages delivered by drones? You don't hear about that anymore.
I've actually never seen anyone have a package delivered by a drone. I've never.
Well, you're not here, but I'm saying like they had it in Chicago, New York, and somewhere else. They had it in 3 different places, maybe Washington D.C., but it never worked. Like it just never worked out because it was dropping stuff off in the wrong yards, and People were like knocking them out of the sky for one thing. It's like, that's because to me, airspace isn't owned, so they can do that. So because people's like, well, it's kind of invading our privacy. Well, airspace isn't owned, so you can't really say much. So which is not, not okay in my opinion, because I could just be flying over a bunch of, nude beaches with my fucking thing, taking pictures, and nobody can say nothing. So, but whatever. We don't, to get back onto that was my last one. I do have a couple of hitting the roads to talk about. I do I got the festival stuff kicking back in for 2026 already. Like, what the hell? Shiprocked 2026 will set sail between January 25th and 31st, 2026, aboard the Carnival Horizon from Miami to Half Moon Cay, Celebration Key, Carnival's soon-to-be open private cruise port on the island of Grand Bahama and Nassau in the Bahamas. Man, they got their own damn little port. That's pretty cool. The cruise features headliners Hailstorm, Motionless in White, and Knocked Loose, alongside Suicidal Tendencies, Avatar, Starset, Kitty, and more. I hear those headliners and I see the other bands. I'm like, you sure this isn't flipped? Like you got Avatar like opening? Like, what the fuck? Anyway, you need Kitty too? Like, whatever. Full lineup is Motionless in White, Not Loose, Wage War, AWOL Nation, Suicidal Tendencies, Avatar, Starset, Sleep Theory, From Ashes to New, Kitty, 68, Archetypes Collide, Aurora Wave, The Barbarians of California, Dead Poet Society, Death by Romy, Dinosaur Pile Up, The Funeral Portrait, Holy Wars, House of Protection, Low Lies, Not Enough Space, Shepherd's Raid in Unity, Texas, 0936, and The Stowaways. So that is your lineup for your Shiprocked 2026. So,
that's not bad.
Yeah, it's not a bad one. I mean, like I said, you got to think about it. It's not a festival. You're on a cruise. So, I mean, all kinds of stuff. Like, to me, if I did a cruise, I'd probably do the Jericho cruise because there's so much different stuff to do.
Well, and you get a little bit of both. You get wrestling, you get music. So, I mean,
comedy. He's got everything on that.
Yeah.
It's like all kind of entertainment. So, I like the full entertainment prospect of it. But
yeah.
And then next one is just over 3 weeks until the Rock for People kicks off for their 30th year in a row. Expecting a record amount of attendees, this year is going to be big. We won't lie; they obviously have our eyes on some of the household names like Linkin Park, Avenged Sevenfold, and Slipknot, but we also have our eye on Deaf Heaven, Nothing More, Fit for an Autopsy, Lorna Shore, and Circle Waves. Check out the full lineup here. There are tickets remaining, by the way, if you want to go to this. These are the lineup: the May Revolution, six Hourly Human, or maybe it's supposed to be Barely Human. I guess I don't know. That's what maybe it looks like. I don't know, something like that. Abbey Falls, Adept, Amira, Elifki, Annette X, and Nobody Listen, Archers, Arrows in Action, Avenged Sevenfold, AWOL Nation, Bad Nerves, Battle Snake, interesting, BEA, Bert and Friends, Biffy Clyro. I'm just going to go through some of these. This is a long list. I'm just going to go through some of them. Black Sonic, I didn't realize it was this long. Black Sonic Pearls, Blooming Discord, Branko's Bridge, Castle Rat, Circle Waves, Creeper, Cross Faith, Cry Out, Currents, David Collar, Dayseeker, Dead Poet Society, Deaf Heaven, Defects, Dream State, Eagles of Death Metal, Fall from Everest, Fit for an Autopsy, Fountains DC, French Police from Fall to Spring, Ghost Kid, Grandson, Guns N' Roses, Half-Lives, Halocene, Holy Wars, House of Protection, Idols, Eminence, In Flames, Ions, Jerry Cantrell, Cadaver, Kadavar, Kadavar. So don't get it mixed up. Kat Von D, Kim Dracula Kitty, Luke Malice, Leap, Lincoln Park, Lorna Shore, Lovejoy, Madhouse Express, Ma Rat, let's see here, Marked as an Enemy, Midnight Swimmers, Motionless in White, My Own Abyss, Nothing More, Paleface Swiss, Perturbator, Polaris, Poppy, Refused, Rival Sons, Rory, Sawyer Hill, Sextile, Shine, Signs of the Swarm, Skillet, Slipknot, Speed, Spiritual Cramp, Static Dress, Stray from the Path, Super Heaven, or Super Heaven, I guess. Sorry. Let's see. Silosis, The Ghost Inside, the Haunt. Oh, shit, it went too far down. Shit. The Warning, Thrice, Trophy Eyes, Unprocessed, Vingent, Vows, While She Sleeps, and Wonder Horse. Zebra Head also, sorry. See Zebra Head there. So that's just a little bit. Like I said, there's a lot on here.
That's a hell of a bill.
I just kind of named off some of the bigger bands there. So, and actually, I think this is a 5-day event. So,
okay.
Yeah, so it's even crazier than the normal festival. So,
okay.
So, I think that's what I read. It was 5 days. I'm like, damn. After 2, I'd be like, shit, I'm ready to go home.
Yeah. Be like, my feet hurt.
Right, yeah. So, but anyway, that one is there. So if you guys want to check that out, there are tickets available. So go check it out.
Nice.
And then I will turn it over to Chris because I know he's got some big ones lined up too. From what I've read, I was like, well, I got 2 festivals to talk about, so I won't steal no thunder.
Okay. All right. Well, I've actually got 2 weeks worth of announcements here because I had kind of started this before everything kind of materialized with Richie.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
I just went ahead and was like, all right, well, I mean, I've already got 1 week started, so let's just go ahead and kind of, piggyback off of that. So I've got a good 5 pages here. So I'll try to get through this, relatively quickly. For hitting the road for the weeks of the 10th through the 23rd. Starting off at the PRP, and actually, I think that's where I got everything. To be completely honest with you guys, I do believe that's the case. All right, Nothing More is going to be a very, very busy band coming up here in a little bit. They have a European and UK tour set up starting June 4th in Sölvesborg, Sweden at the Sweden Rock Festival, finishing June 29th in Helsinki, Finland at the Tuska Festival. Then they're going to be continuing their European and UK tour with Catch Your Breath, Silence, and Encore, starting November 7th in Tampere, Finland at Tavares Asema, finishing December 6th in Bristol, England at the O2 Academy. Then next year, they will be with Catch Your Breath, Archers, and Doobie going on a North American tour starting January 14th, 2026 in Silver Spring, Maryland at the Fillmore. Finishing March 17th in Fayetteville, Arkansas at JJ's Live. They will be in Nashville on February 6th at Marathon Music Works.
Nice.
Oceano, Rose Funeral, Filth, Larcenia Row, which by the way, that band Larcenia Row, I don't know much about them, but they are going to be at the Tennessee Metal Devastation Fest.
Oh, nice. Have they started announcing those? I didn't even see that.
They have. They've started.
Oh, nice. Okay.
They've started announcing bands. They don't have the whole lineup yet. I think they're at least halfway through.
Oh, really? Let me look that up and see.
I know that Casket Robbery is back again. The Red Mountain is back again.
Really?
Yeah, Casket Robbery is back again. The Red Mountain is back again. Quiescent Mantis is back again, and Larcenia Row has been announced. I think Filth is the headliner.
Okay.
Like I said, if you want to look that up, you can. I know that they're like halfway through. Which I mean, Filth is actually on this bill with Larcenia Row. Yeah. So we have Oceano, Rose Funeral, Filth, Larcenia Row, and Inferius going on a U.S. tour, which is the new leg of Oceano's farewell tour. Starting August 20th in Houston, Texas at Scout Bar, finishing August 30th in Dallas at Trees. Then this one is going to be some interest of yours, Nonpoint and Upon a Burning Body, with Autumn Kings and Heart 6 splitting opening duties, starting August 8th in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania at the HMAC, finishing August 30th in Hobart, Indiana at the Hobart Art Theater. They will be in Nashville on August 19th at the Basement East.
And we will be there. Upon a Burning Body and Nonpoint, we will be there.
Yeah, I figured as much.
They're only $30, man. So.
Right. So, I mean, you can't argue with that. Then Landmarks, Under Oath, Pain of Truth, and Split Chain are going to Europe and to the UK starting December 4th in Meisenthal, France at Palais Verrier. Oh. What's that?
Oh, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4. They got 11 bands announced.
They're further along than I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
And then that tour is going to finish December 19th in Cologne, Germany at the Palladium. Melvins and Red Cross are going on a U.S. tour starting September 9th in Flagstaff, Arizona at Yucca North, finishing October 21st in Tucson, Arizona at Club Congress. They will be in Knoxville at the Bijou Theater on October 8th and in Memphis at Minglewood Hall on October 12th. The Callous Dowboys, Unity, Texas, Your Spirit Dies, and Crush Plus Plus going on a U.S. tour starting September 12th in Pompano Beach, Florida at Grimm's, finishing September 12th in Pompano Beach, Florida at Grimm's, finishing October 12th in Atlanta, Georgia at the Masquerade Purgatory. They will be in Nashville October 10th at the End. Adept has announced some summer European dates. June 14th in Nickelsdorf, Austria at Nova Rock. June 15th in Radek Kralov, Czechia at Rock for People. June 26th in Stockholm, Sweden at the Broken Summerfest. August 15th in Dinkelsbühl, Germany at the Summer Breeze Open, and August 16th in Kudrafen, Switzerland at Rock the Lakes.
I work for a what do they call it? What do you say? You work for a charity, people helping people.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Damn right. Then Ingested, Of Sulfur, Cell, and another opening act to be announced are going on tour in North America starting November 11th in Fresno, California at Full Circle Brewing Company, finishing December 6th in Pomona, California at the Glass House. They'll be in Nashville on November 29th at the End. Raging Speedhorn and Mastiff are going to the UK in November, starting November 20th in Milton Keynes, England at the Crawford Arms, finishing November 30th in Newcastle, England at Trillions. All Shall Perish is going on a northwestern U.S. tour with openers still to be announced, starting October 2nd in Sacramento, California at the Aftershock Festival, finishing October 11th in Las Vegas at 24 Oxford. Agnostic Front is going to Europe. No word on the openers yet. Starting July 31st in Labnitz, Denmark at Full Rewind. Finishing August 23rd in Ludenscheid, Germany at the Bouts Festival.
Ludenscheid.
Yep. Power Trip is going to Europe, starting June 15th in Donington, England at the Download Festival, finishing June 28th in Esselstein, Netherlands at Jarrah Open Air. Slomosa is going to Norway. No word yet on the openers for that. Starting September 12th in Hamar, Norway at the TK Death Fest, finishing December 20th in Skien, Norway at Park Biografen. Bane is going on a summer European tour. No word yet on the openers. Starting July 25th in Goldenstadt, Germany at the Afdreit und Buten. Finishing August 9th in Wilmar, Germany at Tells Bells Festival. John 5 and Richie Kotzen are going on a fall tour starting October 16th in El Cajon, California at Magnolia, finishing November 29th in Pioneer Town, California at Pappy and Harriet's. That's going to be John 5 only at that show. They'll be in Nashville on October 29th at the Fog Street Lawn Club. I have no idea where the hell that's at.
Is that going to be called the Replacement Guitars Tour?
Probably. It should be. Thy Art is Murder and Harriet are going to Europe on some off dates from their Parkway Drive tour. October 8th in Limerick, Ireland at Dolan's Warehouse. October 9th in Belfast, Ireland at Limelight. October 10th in Dublin, Ireland at Academy. October 24th in Athens, Greece at Gagarin 205. And October 26th in Istanbul, Turkey at Performance Hall. Black Braid, Limp of Murmure, and Dodsrit are going on a North American tour starting September 18th in San Diego, California at Brick by Brick, finishing October 11th in LA at 1720. Wednesday 13 is going on a European tour with Sister as openers, starting October 17th in Oslo, Norway at Young's, finishing October 26th in Copenhagen, Denmark at Pumpehuset. Then they will be with Blitzkid, Calabrese, and The Other on October 28th in Berlin, Germany at Astra, October 29th in Hamburg, Germany at Grobe Freiheit, October 30th in Hanover, Germany at Faust, October 31st in Cologne, Germany at the Karlswerk Victoria, and November 1st in Leipzig, Germany at Felsenkeller.
Don't forget they're playing that full album too.
That's right. So. Yes, they are. Today is the day Bunyule and Murderous again are going on a North American tour starting June 14th in Brooklyn, New York at the Brooklyn Monarch. That will be Today Is the Day performing at the Rich Hall Tribute Show, finishing July 18th in Nashville, Tennessee at the Cobra. Today Is the Day only. They're going to be playing by themselves. Then Metallica has announced their European touring plans for 2026. With Gojira and Knocked Loose starting May 9th in Athens, Greece at the Olympic Stadium, finishing June 28th in Cardiff, Wales at Principality Stadium. Then with Pantera and Avatar
That's the one I'm mad about.
Me too. Me too.
You could do that here?
Yeah, you could have. Starting May 22nd and 24th in Frankfurt, Germany at the Deutsche Bank Park, finishing July 3rd and 5th in London, England at the London Stadium. Still Remains is going on a 20th anniversary UK tour for their album Of Love and Lunacy with Devil Sold His Soul and Echelon, starting November 12th in Nottingham, England at Rescue Rooms. I think that's supposed to be Rescue Rooms. I think that's a typo. Hang on. Yeah, Rescue Rooms, finishing November 22nd in Sheffield, England at the Corporation. Bleeding Through has announced a trio of California shows with Fox Lake and Salt Wound, July 18th in LA at 1720, July 19th in Fresno at Fulton 55, and July 20th in Roseville at Goldfield Trading Post. Thornhill, Ocean Grove, and Bloom are going to Europe starting October 17th in Stuttgart, Germany at Im Weissmann, finishing November 9th in London, England at the O2 Academy. At the O2 Islington Academy, As I Lay Dying is going on a 20th anniversary tour for their Shadows Are Security album in some form or fashion. I know Tim Lambesis is
how?
He's trying to get a lineup rebuilt. Starting October 30th in Moscow, Russia at Stadium Club Live, finishing November 14th in Heerlen, Netherlands at Nieuwe Noor. Our Last Night, Grayscale, and Windtalkers is set up for a farewell tour for Our Last Night, starting August 8th in St. Louis, Missouri at the Factory, finishing September 26th in Nashville at the Ryman Auditorium. Slow Crush and Somme are going to Europe, starting October 16th in Bristol, England at the Fleece, finishing October 28th in Southampton, England at Joiners. Basement, Anxious, and Dynamite are going to Europe, with Midriff appearing at select dates, starting September 15th in Dublin, Ireland at Academy, featuring Midriff, finishing September 28th in Amsterdam, Netherlands at Melkweg OZ. Blood Incantation is announced a North American tour with Krallis, Pallbearer, Steve Roach, and Cynic opening at select dates starting July 12th in Pelham, Tennessee at the Caverns, featuring Pallbearer. That's the only Tennessee date. I want to see a show at that place one of these days. I really want to see a show there at that venue.
Say Pallbearer? Is that what they say?
Pallbearer, yep.
Oh, yes.
Different Pallbearer, but yeah.
Well, I hope so. I mean, he's passed away.
He's dead, yeah. He needs a pallbearer at this point.
Yeah.
Finishing August 7th, in LA at the Wiltern, featuring Steve Roach and Cynic. Dream Theater has announced their U.S. tour with their An Evening Of format, starting September 5th in Reading, Pennsylvania at the Santander Performing Arts Center.
Yeah.
Finishing,
Richie's pissed about that one.
Yeah, finishing October 25th in Long Island, New York at Nassau Coliseum. Falling in Reverse has announced a North American tour. Slaughter to Prevail, Hollywood Undead, Sleep Theory, Point North, Wage War, and Tech Nine will be appearing on tour in varying lineups. Starting August 10th in Greenwood Village, Colorado at Fiddler's Pavilion Amphitheater. Finishing September 26th in LA at the PH Live at Planet Hollywood. Attack, Savage Hands, and Versus Me is going on a U.S. tour starting August 12th in Atlanta, Georgia at the Masquerade Hell, finishing September 20th in Louisville, Kentucky at Louder Than Life. They will be in Nashville at the Basement East on September 17th. Jerry Cantrell and Filter are going on a U.S. tour starting August 16th in San Diego, California at the Observatory North Park, finishing September 14th in Kansas City, Missouri at Uptown Theater. Suffocation has announced their European tour with Warbringer, Psychroptic, To the Grave, Skeletal Remains, and Angel Maker appearing on varying lineups starting August 3rd in Saint Maurice de Gourdon, France at Skylark Open Air, finishing August 17th at Carhaix, France at Motoculture. Trivium has announced a European tour starting August 8th in Derbyshire, England at Bloodstock Festival, finishing August 16th in Carhaix, France at Motoculture. Ice Nine Kills, Kim Dracula, The Funeral Portrait, and Mest are going on a U.S. tour starting August 10th in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at Vibrant Music Hall, finishing September 13th in Worcester, Mass. At the DCU Center featuring A Loss for Words. And lastly, The Ghost Inside and Bleed From Within have announced some Australian dates for October. October 19th in Perth at Metro Freo. What?
Never in the U.S., dude. Never.
I know. October 21st in Adelaide at the Gov. October 23rd in Melbourne at the Forum Theatre. October 24th in Sydney at the Enmore Theatre. And October 26th in Brisbane at the Tivoli. So that is hitting the road for the 10th through the, what did I say? The 10th through the 23rd. So,
man, Bleed From Within put on a hell of a show, too, man. I loved it.
That's good. I'm glad they did.
Yeah, I kind of feel like those should have been like reversed. I think they should have went on after August Burns Red instead of. But that's just my opinion. All right, let's see here. That will lead us into our theme of the week.
Yeah, theme of the week.
Mm-hmm. This week's theme of the week was enter and exit. I had a pretty difficult time with my end of it, but
same.
Yeah, did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think I found a bunch of stuff that I could have used on your end, but
really, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll just add it. We'll add it on the back end. That's fine.
Yeah.
I got to 15, so I mean, I got there.
I think that's where I was at, 15 or 16. So I'm actually going to add one because I just thought about it, and then I need to give me just a second here. I'm going to. Just a second. I gotta.
Well, thankfully, I mean, there's no deadlines. I mean,
well, yeah, but I was just I was thinking about it the other day, and I forgot to. I just now looked at it and I said, I didn't even add that song. Like, damn it! It actually would go with both of our sides too. So.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine.
Okay. All right. So I had the inner side. So, of course, I kicked off with Metallica, Enter Sandman from Metallica, 1991. Then I went with Exile, Enter the Grave from Enter the Grave, 2007.
That's such a good song.
And then I went with Trivium, Entrance of the Conflagration from the Crusade, 2006.
Another good song.
Then As I Lay Dying, The Cave We Fear to Enter from Through Storms Ahead in 2024, which was their latest album, which was, like I said, was horrible that everything happened because I thought that was such a great album, dude. Like, yep. I would love to hear a lot of that on tour, even if Tim Lambis is a piece of shit. But Injector, Never Enter the Cave from Endless Scorn 2024. Shotgun Revolution, Enter the Fire from the album 4 in 2021. Enter Shikari was actually the song from Take to the Skies 2007. Talk about being some, narcissistic. I wrote a song by myself. Just kidding. Then I went with Trick or Treat, not the Trick or Treat that we know, but it's a different Trick or Treat. But still metal. Okay. Still metal. It's all one word instead of separated. So,
all right. Gotcha.
So, the song was called Enter. It's from Inner Working Model 2017. Then I went with Darkest Hour, Enter Oblivion from Godless Prophets and the Migrant Flora from 2017. They went with In Flames, Inner Tragedy from Sounds of a Playground, Fading, 2011. I went with Kitty, Are You Entertained? So from Fire, 2024. Like I said, I was reaching at some point. So then I went with Reverend Hound, Enter My Nightmare from Enter My Nightmare, the 2018 EP. Then went with Fight, Into the Pit, because you enter it if you're going into it. So, so War of Words, 1993. Repentance, Enter the Gallows from God for a Day of 2020. Bullet from Our Valentine, Hearts Burst Into Fire. So you burst into something, you're entering it, right? Scream, Aim, Fire, 2008. Then I went with Slipknot, Birth of the Cruel from We Are Not Your Kind, 2019. Because if you're born, of course, you're entering the world. So, and then last but not least, I went with Nothing More, Fade In, Fade Out, because you're entering and exiting that way. So the stories we tell ourselves, 2017. So
that's right. All right. For the exit side of the theme this week, leading off, I had Exit by Dust Bolt off Mass Confusion from 2016. I had No Way Out by Bullet for My Valentine off of Venom from 2015. Then I had Exit Wounds by Patchwork off of their Exit Wounds album from 2015. Exist to Exit by Arch Enemy off Anthems of Rebellion from 2003. Then he had This Is Not an Exit by Anthrax off Sound of White Noise from 1993. Then I had Escape by Arched Fire, our friends from Finland, off their Remote Control album from 2021. Then I had A Secret Door by Avatar off of Hunter Gatherer from 2020. Leave Your God Behind by Crysis off Against the Odds from 2018. No Way Out by Annihilator off of Feast from 2013. Get Out of My Way by Havoc off Time Is Up from 2011. Then I went with Cemetery Gates by Pantera off Cowboys from Hell from 1990. Leave No Soul by Hatchet, a single from 2023. I got Havoc and Hatchet on the same list. You notice that? And then,
were you able to keep them separated?
Oh yeah, I was able to figure out which one was which. And then Get Out of My Way by Angela Sapatrita off of Clockwork from 2010. No Escape by Creator off of Terrible Certainty from 1987. Then, speaking of a band writing a song about themselves, I had Exodus by Exodus off Bonded by Blood from 1985.
Wow, that's pretty funny.
So we'll get that built, we'll get it compiled and collaborated on. We'll get it posted for you guys, and I'm sure there'll be some additions at the end. So.
Oh yeah.
Especially since I've been sending all of our themes of the week to Kayla too, so she can add some stuff.
Yeah, so I'm sure. Like I said, I got some stuff for the Exit side that you didn't name, so that's good. So
works for me.
And I'm sure you could probably think of some stuff on the other side too that I'm probably, because like I said, you follow bands like Sabaton and all those that I like, but I don't follow them as close as you do. So I'm sure there's probably some stuff in some of those bands that you could add. So good deal. So,
yep.
Like I said, that one was a little challenging.
That one was a little bit more. Yeah, that was a little bit more.
But I like it. It's good. It's good to have a challenge every once in a while. They all shouldn't be so easy. So.
Right. Yeah. We shouldn't be able to do 30 songs a piece every freaking week. So
yeah. Sometimes I think one of them went to like 72 or something. By the time Kayla added it on, so I was like, damn.
Yeah, it did.
I think I listened to that whole playlist like all the way through.
It was like 6.5 hours or something.
Yeah, because I was on a trip and I was on the other side of Kentucky before it quit playing. I was like, damn. I was like, wow, that was a long one. Cool. So speaking of Patchwork, you'll be hearing a lot of that name here upcoming weeks. Just to hint.
Yes,
so
you will.
Great fucking album, dude.
Yeah.
That last album they had. Oh my god. I don't know. Have you listened to it yet?
Yep.
Dude, that was a beast.
It's really good.
Well, you're gonna like this one too. So
shit. Say less.
So,
well, actually, you're doing the album review, so say more. So
yeah, exactly. Okay. Well, now to Chris. I'm just kidding. Anyway, album review time. So I went with a band called Degenerate. They went with Rituals of Rage. They are a thrash groove metal band formed in 2016 and hailing from Amsterdam, Netherlands. So it should have been called Everything's Legal. I'm just kidding.
I mean.
And then, being from Netherlands, I'm going to butcher half of these names, so I apologize in advance. Current members, we had Riens Hilgers, guitars and vocals, Philip Zuck on bass, Daniel Ruiz Cardo on guitar. That's the easiest one on guitars, and then bass blues. I guess Bloos. I don't know how they would pronounce that there, but it's like blues to me. But on drums, and then we had. So this is the thing: we had Philip is the bassist on the records, and then they have a live bassist, Yannick DeWitt, on bass.
Oh, okay, all right.
for live shows. He just started doing that last year though, because I guess for some reason Philip ran into some issues with touring or something. I guess, but I didn't get the whole story, but hopefully we might get the whole story.
We'll see. We might.
All right, this is the band's second full-length release, 10 tracks and 41 minutes and 24 seconds in length. So I'll just say this. This album is a relentless beatdown that will have you begging for more. I'll just say that. I mean, it's fucking like it comes out the gate and it does not stop, dude. It's
nice.
It's vocally, I think Riens is in the realm of a Randy Blythe from Lamb of God. Kind of reminded me a lot of the style, not really the vocals, but a lot of the style. And like this guy carried a guttural note for shit. It felt like a fucking minute. Like I'm just like, how in the hell is he doing this? It was like, I was like, damn. So pretty impressive, to do that. That takes some special stuff, man. I'm sure, like, people that's probably heard Lorna Shore or something's probably heard Will do that, but I don't listen to them that much, so I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty special in my opinion. Even if Will does it, congrats to him, because that's like I said, that's pretty hard to pull off. That's I almost think that's about as bad as trying to do the high end ones. I think the high end ones take a little bit more, but still, it's still pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So, dude, the drumming on this album is one of those, Boss or Bass or however he pronounces his name is, man, this fucking guy is one of those guys where you're listening and is like, is he doing this with 10 legs and 4 arms? I mean, what the fuck is he, how in the fuck is he doing this shit, dude? It's almost like a Thomas Hake, with Meshuggah type take. Yeah. It's like, dude, how the fuck is he, hitting this stuff like that? Like, it is fucking unreal, dude. Like I said, it kind of showcased his talents a lot in this album. So, some fast-paced gallops on the toms, perfectly placed pounding of cymbals and stuff. Just double kicks. Golly, dude, it's just like, it was like that the whole time. Like, I was just like, Jesus. I can imagine like seeing these guys live, dude. It would just, I would probably be just focused on him the whole time because I just want to see I just want to see how he does it, dude. Just like,
right.
How the fuck he did this shit. But yeah, amazing drummer. I'll just say that. Probably one of the my favorites at this point. Put him in there with Hake and all the drummers that we've talked about in the past. So it sounded to me like a few instruments that wasn't listed were tossed in there here and there too. Because I could have swore I heard like a little keyboard and maybe I don't know some. It was just a weird like. Maybe a triangle sound or something. I don't know. It was kind of strange. Like you just hear, like I would hear it and be like, man, what the fuck was that? That wasn't a normal instrument. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not listed, so I don't know, who did what. Maybe, like I said, maybe at some point we'll reach out. Maybe they'll take advantage of the invitation and we'll get some further detail on that. But
cool.
Anyway, some excellent guitar solos in this thing. Man, dude's like. To me, like this band in general is so, a well-oiled machine. It's like so cohesive with everything that they're doing. And, I've heard this a couple of times now, and I'm just like, man, everything just seems like it just fits so, so good together. Almost like winning at Tetris. It's like it fits so well together. Kids, if you don't know what Tetris is, go look it up.
Yeah, ask your parents.
Yeah. So, so to end this, not carry it too far, this may be a first, but for 2 weeks in a row, I'm giving an album 4.5 horns.
Oh, there we go.
So this dude right here may be my favorite album of the year so far. I ain't even gonna lie, dude. It's so badass.
Someone has to be, so there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Very nice. 4.5, 2 weeks in a row. Awesome.
I know, right? I said that's probably a record. I don't think I've ever done that. So.
Good shit. Well, not bad at all. Yeah. All right, my album review this week is the new album Sinister Seduction from Crematorium. They are a thrash metal band formed in Rijeka, Croatia in 2007.
Oh, nice.
Their lyrical themes are political satire, religious satire, and war atrocities. They are currently signed to Witch's Brew, the Witch's Brew label. They are a 5-piece. You can talk about some names. This is going to be interesting. I'm not really brushed up that well on my Croatian, so let's see how this goes. We have Eric Perusic on guitar. We have Domago Fisekovic on lead vocals. Zdenko Dabic on bass, Dorian Perusic on drums, and Sebastian Zivkovic on guitars. I think I did better than I thought.
That was a lot of it. It's a lot of itches.
Yeah, a lot of actually every single one of them.
Yeah, right.
Every single one of them. Yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah. All right. This is their second full-length studio album. Their debut album, Body Bags, came out in 2015, leading up to the new album yesterday. So it hasn't exactly been hasn't exactly been the busiest band. They did
I
have
was gonna say you said they were born in 07, right?
in
Oh wow,
2007,
okay.
and they do have another EP that came out. I can't remember the year. It may have been 18. I'd have to look back. But I usually just focus on the LPs.
Right, right, right.
But regardless of that, they've only got 2 LPs and an EP under their belt. So not 100% sure, like the reason for the gaps
Yeah,
and
right.
but because I mean Eric and of course according to this Eric is the only original the only original member, been around since 2007.
Okay.
The vocalist has been around since '08, but he doesn't appear to be the original vocalist. Everybody else is 19, 19, 21, so
Okay.
not exactly sure. So I don't know. We may reach out, we may find out. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
The new album is 8 tracks long, 31 minutes and 50 seconds. So it was a real quick listen, which was awesome because it was a super duper up tempo album. Definitely has and I know we mentioned Exodus is bonded by blood at the end of the theme of the week, but this absolutely had a mid '80s thrash
Okay.
Exodus bonded by blood feel.
Nice.
Super duper high up, super duper tempo, very very guitar centric album. The way the riffs were composed, the guitar solos were fantastic. I mean, just absolutely blazing, super duper shreddy. I mean, very, very well put together. The riffs, the guitar solos, drumming was fine. Didn't really notice the bass a whole lot. I mean, it was in there. I mean, it's not one of those And Justice for All situations where it's
Right.
not in there. It's in there. I wouldn't say there was anything, otherworldly about it. They didn't really give any bass solos or anything like that.
Well, I think that's kind of something we've talked about before. Where I think that's probably one of the hardest instruments to pick out in any album.
Yeah. Yeah. So
when you do hear it, you're like, oh wow.
Yeah, it definitely grabs your attention, like when the bass player gets a solo, So that is one thing, but didn't really hear any of that here. But I mean, it didn't take away from the album or anything like that. And then Demago, he's got a really good high end to his range. Couldn't really tell you who he kind of reminded me of, but he had a decent range. Sang clean 99% of the time. I mean, there were a few moments where he got a little bit more aggressive than just singing straight up clean, but I don't know if you remember, but there's always like these jokes floating around that, musically, like Europe and the rest of the world are like stuck in the 80s, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, that's kind of a good thing, especially with the genre of music that we listen to, because you got bands like this, like Crematorium, that are keeping that classic traditional sound alive. And I think they do a real good job of it here. I haven't listened to their other album, of course. I plan to. Whether or not I do or not is another story, because I always plan to go back. But I mean, it just, we always say that. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. So
luckily you have the ability to listen at work now.
So yeah, so I do
may be able to get it in. So.
Yeah, I might be able to do that now. So that's a good thing. But I mean, definitely, they definitely have an old school Exodus sound. More recently, a more modern band that they remind me of was Hellfire. Okay. So yeah, so I mean, they've got that vibe to them. But yeah, it's old school sound with a new school twist. I mean, we've talked about that before. So definitely right up my alley. Giving this one 4 horns.
Nice.
Yes.
Some good reviews this week.
Yes.
Good deal. Man, awesome. So, all right, I guess that will conclude this week. So we'll kind of
do you want me to
you go through the albums for next week. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yep. Yes. Let's do that.
So it's a pretty lengthy list, but our friends over at Heavy Music HQ, as always, looking forward to closing out May. Leading off for the 30th of May, Albus Diabolus with Compendio Esoterico Electronico. Then we have Anziv with Kur, Birth Defects with Deceiver/Mirror, Blood Horse with A Malign Star, Body Minus Head with An Exercise in Self-Sufficiency, Bird with Drought Deluge, that's an EP. We have Karaga with Os Osmium, that's a re-release. Craving with Calling the Sirens of the Old Fortress. We have Sufin with Sorrows, Dark Flow with Imminent End, The Dead Daisies with Looking for Trouble, Dead End Irony with Battles and Brotherhood, Death Commander with Never to Grow Old, Death Rattle with The Moral Chokehold, Deep Space Mask with Burn in Hell, Detroit Run with Defiance Part 1, that's an EP, Dissect with Hide from the Light, that's an EP, Divney San with Dreamlike Tales, Doobie with Give 'em Hell Until You Get to Heaven, Drifter with Grigori, and Terre Vivant with Akuzai. We have Eschaton with Tectalitarian, Funeral Baptism with In Solitudine, Furnace with Eternally Enthroned, Golem of Gore with Ultimo Mondo Kane, Graceless with Icons of Ruin, Gridiron with Poetry from Pain, Grin with Acid Gods, The Haunted with Songs of Last Resort, Hexecutioner with Tornit, Hilltops Are for Dreamers with A Soulless Drive, that's an EP, Horrenda with Dialtos, K-Tone with Flesh and Fire, that's an EP, Kingdom of Nightmares with Fading Light, Kusanagi with Paramnesia, La Serva with a self-titled EP, La Suspendida with La Suspendida Live, Leatherman with Turn You On, Lift the Curse with Don't Bury the Dream, Loath Finder with Broken Branches and Torn Roots, Lord Vigo with Walk the Shadows, Low Before the Breeze with A Hole Beneath the Home We Started, Midnight City with a self-titled re-release. Oh, I'm sorry. Midnight City has 2 re-releases, a self-titled re-release, and then There Goes the Neighborhood, so 2 re-releases from them. Necrolysis with Templo de Fraud, Needless with Premonition, Obsidian Tongue with Eclipsing Worlds of Scorn, Obstruction with Death Comes Near, Ulse with Posviati, Oniric with Curling Serpents Under Stone, Penitent with Melancholia Redux, Planning for Burial with Its Closeness, It's Easy, Puterion with Mountains of Madness, Quadvium with Tetradom, Redican with The Crux, Reject the Sickness with Signs of the End, Rivers of Nile with a self-titled album, Satin White with Born, Skid Row with Revolutions Per Minute, that's obviously a re-release, The Soundbite with Still Quiet, Spark of Life with Plagued by the Human Condition, The Speaker Wars with a self-titled album, Stealth with Metal Force, Stone from the Sky with Bakeneko, Svart Vinter with Isvind, Swans with Birthing, Tassi with Edamon Novasa, Leva, Thurifer with River Red, that's an EP. Tommy Harrison Group with True Redemption, that's an EP.
Tragic. I wonder if that Leva stands for live. I imagine so.
Maybe. I'm not sure, but it might. Tommy Harrison Group with True Redemption, that's an EP. Tragic with Crescendo. Tristania with Beyond the Veil, that's a re-release. Trivax with The Great Satan. True North with Either Way the Sun's Exploding. Oh, that's uplifting. Vader with Humanility. That's an EP. Veneno with Chaos, Hostility, Murder. Variety Jones with Shell Shocked. Vildhjarte with Dar Skogan, Shunger, Under. Evig Heaton's Grenar. That's what I know. I felt like the goddamn Swedish chef for a minute there. I felt like the Swedish chef there for a minute, and I hope I didn't butcher that too bad. I'm trying to pronounce it the way it's.
Yeah.
I feel like I sounded like I was making fun of Swedish, and I promise you I wasn't. So
yeah. He was probably pretty close, honestly.
I hope I got at least somewhere in the neighborhood. Vulture with Necrophagy, that's an EP. Vald Crypta with Disenchantment. War Moon Lord with Sacrosanct Demonopathy. Warrior Pope with a morbid parody of justice. We Are Resolute with Full Armor. Weeping Sores with the Convalescence Agonies. Wolves at the Gate with Wasteland, and Zigzags with Deadbeat at Dawn. So quite a list of stuff to choose from for next week.
Some pretty big bands listed in there too, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Oh man, I was just looking at the following weeks. Jesus Christ. There's at least 2 bands in the first 10 that are pretty big. So So we're starting to get into some heavy hitters now, man.
We are.
It's we knew that was going to happen at some point.
Oh, of course. Of course.
With all the stuff that we had already been, people had already, the ones that had already been announced today, we're going to do this in 2025. Yep. So we were kind of like, oh man, it's going to be, going to be a pretty big year then. So,
it's coming.
Yeah, of course we've gotten some so far, but nothing, nothing where there's like 3 or 4 huge bands that come, like we already had Machine Head, we've already had, right. Believe from Within. I think that was last year. Yeah. Bury Tomorrow, Arch Enemy. Yeah, so we've had some big stuff. So it's just going to get bigger, man. With the a lot of the thrash stuff that we know is going to be hitting at some point this year. So so
you're right.
Deal. Good stuff, man.
It's going to be good stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to get harder and harder to try to add this stuff in and filter it out at the end of the year. So. So hard to believe we're already, almost half into this year or so.
I know.
Wild. But
yeah, I mean next weekend starts June. Well, not quite yet, but I mean we're damn near.
But yeah, at the end of June it'll be halfway over. So
yeah,
so it's kind of like a month away. So
yep, getting close.
Anyway, well, thank you guys for joining us. And like I said, if you haven't caught the interviews yet from the last couple of weeks, they are up on Spotify. The Kissing Lilith one has been posted. I know it was a few weeks ago. I'm working on the Game Over one right now, so that one should be up sometime this week. I may finish that up Monday actually, or Sunday. Maybe I might do it tomorrow because should be working and I'll be working. So. So I may be able to finish it at least by Monday because I'm off Monday. Actually, that's what I meant. I'll do it Monday because she's working. I'm not. So I'll come in here and do a lot of work.
There you go.
So I'll get a lot of stuff done on Monday with the podcast. I'm trying to get caught back up because we got so many interviews coming up.
I was about to say, do we want to let everyone know who's going to be on the show next week, or do we want to leave them hanging and let them watch the social media? So
yeah, just keep an eye out on social media, but just know there is a guest here next week. So
yes, there is.
So if you want to come by and check that out, I mean, we'll be here Saturday 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. So
that's right.
But yeah, it is. I'm kind of excited for this one too.
Me too.
So yeah, that's I'm always excited to interview a band. Don't get me wrong. Because we only know them musically. I like I was telling Richie, we like to get to know the people, for who they are, not not just only as a musician, but as a person. So, there's a lot of stuff these bands may be involved in we don't know about. I'm still waiting on the one to be like, oh yeah, I do this charity and that charity. Like, oh shit, So.
Right.
So like I said, they got a lot of stuff on just probably not publicized as much as it should be. So, speaking of which, one of our good friends of the show, Valkyrie's Fire, has some issues with their travel van. You can check out their GoFundMe. I don't have the link, but you can go to the GoFundMe and look up Valkyrie's Fire. It's on there. So they need some help getting their travel van going back on the road. So I think they were up to $800 this morning on a 2,000. Was it 2,000 or 3,000? 3,000 maybe.
3,500. I think is what they said.
Okay. And they showed the bill and everything.
Last time
it's legit. So
last time I looked, it was up over. It's actually up over 1,000 now. I actually donated $50 the other day. So.
Oh, did you? Cool.
Yeah,
I plan on donating something on my payday on Wednesday. So
yeah, they are currently at $1,015.
Well, nice. Okay.
If you just go to GoFundMe and type in Valkyrie's Fire, I mean, you'll see it. There's a picture. There's a picture of a Ford with its hood open. Of course, that happens all the time with Fords.
Right.
I mean, they're open more often than not. But that'll be the picture you're looking for. But
or you can go to our Facebook page or group, and it's
you can follow it there too. Yep, Dave posted. Actually, we shared it for Dave. We shared it over there. So yeah, you can also follow the link there too. So it is there.
So. Cool. So I forgot. I didn't want to not say anything about that before the show ended. I'm glad I thought about it. So
yeah.
But yeah, so help those guys out, get back on the road and get
literally.
Because I mean, we all know touring is how they make their money. So I mean, if they can't get out there and tour, then they're losing money. So
that's right.
And I hate that because I feel like that was kind of they're kind of at that. Like I said, they're at that spot where Halo Scars were a few years ago.
They're trying to. They're knocking on the door. They're punching through. The
I mean,
good thing is
they've opened up for some pretty big bands too. So
well, in the I don't remember the date. I'd have to look, but Valkyrie's Fire and Halo Scars are actually playing together in Atlanta coming up relatively soon too.
Oh, are they really? Oh, cool.
They are. Yes, they are. I'm happy for both for both of them. But
I know Dana's got his birthday for his wife next Saturday. So
next Saturday,
I'll try to make it out to that.
Yeah, so I'm going to try to make it out to that too. I told him I would do my best to make it out there. So
I don't know how long I can stay because I got to work the next day, but I'll hang out for a little while. So.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway, like I said, if you want to check out those interviews from Brian Slagle from Metal Blades, it's up on Spotify. The Kissing with Us up on Spotify. I'll be adding more stuff to Spotify this week because, like I said, we got a lot of stuff lined up, and I got to get kind of caught back up because if not, I'll be very behind. I'm still trying to cut up some of the Rockin' Pod stuff too, so we can try to get that. I need to get that posted up pretty soon too, because like I said, those will get lost in the wayside if I don't. So,
but if in the meantime, as far as that goes, in the meantime, if you guys do want to check out any of the Rockin' Pod interviews aside,
you can do it on YouTube.
Aside from the Brian Slagle one, because we did that one. That was a standalone interview we did on the Friday, so that one's standalone. It's by itself, and that one's already posted. You can watch that one. Mm-hmm. If you want to check out any of the other ones in the interim while we're trying to sort through everything else, they are on YouTube. I mean, you can move through and check out. What did we have on Saturday? 13, something like that. We had a lot.
Something like that. Yeah, it was a lot.
It was a lot. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff to go through. But we broke it up into 2 segments, so there are 2 segments of the Saturday interviews. So I mean, you can find those at YouTube if you want to check those out. So.
Yep, sure can. Also, we're going to check out our 24/7 live stream radio station. You can check that out at stream.trulyradio247.com/8008/stream. It is streaming now, and there will be stuff added to that, of course, with the, that's another thing I got to do is add some stuff to that. So, I'll be busy Monday. So,
you can email us at metalheadsuniteusa@gmail.com. Follow us on all of our social media platforms. Our public Facebook group and our members only. We're going to get some members only jackets. Facebook. I'd like to have one though. Our members only Facebook group. Come on by and send us a membership request. We'll get you hooked up with that. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on our Twitch. Follow us on TikTok, on Rumble, on YouTube. I'm waiting for it to scroll by. We haven't done this in a few weeks. I can't remember them all. On YouTube and on Spotify. So I can't remember them all. We haven't done this in a few weeks. So
well, I mean, I'm actually trying to add stuff to it too, unfortunately. So, okay. I mean, got to spread them wings.
That is true. That is true.
All right, gang. Like I said, hopefully you enjoyed the show. And like I said, go back and listen to those interviews anytime you would like. They're up on Spotify now.
Yep.
And then check us out next week, as we will have a guest here next Saturday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, same day.
Yep.
Which, like we were talking about, kind of works out because of, interviewing so many bands overseas anyway.
Yeah.
So
it is kind of of course, it was a double blessing in disguise because I got a new job. But the way it worked out is that, for the podcast, it's actually going to probably work out better because, a bulk of our interviews, are overseas, and there is quite a substantial time difference. So, I mean, it'll keep everything a little more consistent with just the overall, start time of the show. So, it worked out.
All right, gang. Well, hopefully we will see you back here next week. Until then, keep those horns held high. Jump in that pit anytime you can.
Have a great week, you guys. And everybody in the United States, have a happy and safe Memorial Day.
Oh, yeah. Memorial Day. I forgot about that.
Yeah.